The story follows Setsu, a seemingly ordinary high school student who likes to daydream about other worlds. He has a close friendship with Yuhi, a cheerful and energetic girl who always teases him about his long hair. One day, their boring class is interrupted by a mysterious portal that transports them and their classmates to a medieval kingdom called Eclair. So once they land in Eclair, guess who rolls out the red carpet? King Destinia and Queen Lilia. They drop a bombshell though. Eclair's in deep trouble, swarmed by demons, and they're in dire need of a hero. But here's the kicker. That legendary hero? It's none other than Setsu himself. Yep, turns out he somehow time-traveled to Eclair in the past, fought alongside the Royal Knights, and saved the day 5 years back. But wait for it. After that final showdown, he vanished into thin air, returning to his world and leaving all his Eclair memories behind. Talk about a mind-bending twist. Now, Setsu's got a massive mission on his hands. He needs to dig deep and recover his lost memories and powers as the hero of Eclair. But that's not all, folks. There's a whole whirlwind of emotions in the mix, too. His old pals and allies, they're all in awe and filled with joy to see him again. Allow me to introduce you to the gang. First up, we have Elka, a passionate senior knight whose heart is entangled with a deep crush on Setsu. The complexities of love and duty certainly make for an intriguing combination. Next, we've got Glein, the composed and sagacious royal knight, who assumes the role of Setsu's mentor. With his wisdom and guidance, he provides a steady hand in the face of adversity. Last but certainly not least, there's Thea, the endearing and vivacious mage who excels in crafting an array of ingenious gadgets. With her inventive spirit, she adds a dash of innovation and lighthearted charm to the group. Get ready, because this ensemble promises an unforgettable and epic adventure ahead. Meet Ruri, a talented young craftswoman who's the proud owner of her grandpa's brooch. Now, this isn't your ordinary trinket. It's got a special connection to none other than Setsu himself. Setsu had his moment as the hero of Eclair, fought off those nasty demons, and then poof, he's back in his own world, leaving Eclair behind. But guess what? He's not exactly the same Setsu anymore. New appearance, new mission, it's like a whole new ballgame. Our crew has made the daring decision to initiate a journey to the demonic continent. Ruri bears the weight of a crucial responsibility, delivering the package entrusted to her by her grandpa. However, this adventure is far from a simple task. Instead, it is laden with numerous challenges. Consider, for instance, the presence of antagonistic knights within the mix and a notable scarcity of available ships. Additionally, there's the unforgettable encounter with a squid monster that they had to confront directly. The journey is one replete with obstacles and exhilarating moments. As they rolled into the bustling port town of Marsen, it was a sight to behold. Merchants haggling, sailors hustling, and just a whirlwind of life all around. Setsu couldn't help but be taken aback by how much the place had transformed since his last visit. Ruri filled him in on the scoop, explaining that the town's thriving all thanks to the trade with the demonic continent, a trade he had a big hand in setting up 5 years back. Setsu, ever the problem solver, made a promise to Ruri that they'd find a way to reach the demonic continent by morning. He was determined to make it happen. But then, he asked her to show him her grandpa's brooch, and when he laid eyes on it, something clicked. Turns out, that brooch was one of his own creations. Setsu had used his magic to infuse it with a special power, a shield to keep her safe from harm. Now that's some serious wizardry. That evening, they sought refuge in a charming inn, and to their delight, the atmosphere lent itself to some genuine bonding. Ruri found herself opening up to Setsu about her aspirations, revealing her deep-seated desire to carry forward her grandpa's legacy and attain mastery as a craftswoman. In turn, she was all ears for Setsu's narrative, curious about his past and the uncertainties of the future. Setsu dropped a revelation, confessing that he retained no recollection of his previous world, but had formed a profound connection with Eclair and its inhabitants. As for that enigmatic secret mission of his, he playfully hinted that it would remain a mystery for another time. The night was filled with shared secrets, dreams, and heartfelt conversations under a single roof. But their peaceful night took an unexpected turn when those persistent nights caught up with them. Without warning, they barged into their room, determined to capture Setsu and Ruri. But Setsu, always one step ahead, unleashed his magic. In the blink of an eye, he whisked them away, escaping through the window with Ruri safely in his arms. As the nights closed in on them, Setsu and Ruri raced toward the shore. Setsu had an ace up his sleeve. He summoned his buddy Lavia, the ocean god. Lavia, without hesitation, agreed to assist. In a spectacular display, he conjured a magnificent water dragon to carry them to the demonic continent. But here's where things took an interesting twist. Setsu had only witnessed the intense battle between Lavia and the colossal squid monster. After the showdown, Lavia confronted Setsu, questioning why he hadn't joined the fight. Setsu, feeling the weight of his inaction, made amends by preparing a meal with the squid monster's remains. As they shared the squid rings, they also discussed the route they needed to take to deliver the package. Meanwhile, over on the demonic continent, times were tough. The people were grappling with the consequences of the war and that colossal squid monster. Their cries for help echoed as they prayed for a miracle to relieve their suffering. It was a moment of divine intervention. Setsu, along with Ruri and Lavia, descended from the skies, holding the colossal squid monster's lifeless form in his hands. In that instant, he became their deliverer of hope and sustenance. With conviction, he declared that he had not only conquered the menacing squid monster, but had also struck a deal with Lavia to reinstate trade with Eclair. Their prayers had been answered, and with Setsu's arrival, food and peace were once again within their grasp. The people couldn't contain their joy and gratitude, embracing Setsu and Ruri as their true saviors. They extended a warm invitation to the pair to join in their feast and jubilation. Amidst the festivities, they all relished squid-inspired dishes, and the air was filled with the rhythm of dance and music. Setsu and Ruri couldn't help but feel elated, seeing the smiles on the faces of the people they had helped. They expressed their heartfelt thanks to Lavia for his invaluable assistance. Yet, as they reveled in this moment, they couldn't help but wonder what lay ahead on their journey through the demonic continent. But in the midst of these celebrations, a storm was brewing. As the war between Eclair and the demonic continent reached a dangerous crescendo, Desistol made a fateful decision. She chose to make the ultimate sacrifice for the sake of peace, agreeing to marry a sinister merchant with alliances that extended to Toma and Eclair. Her hope was that this union could halt Distinia invasion and safeguard her people from further harm. But when the day of the wedding arrived, Setsu burst onto the scene like a whirlwind. With Lavia's assistance, he dramatically crashed through a window, ready for action. A fierce battle ensued as he took on Terran and his entourage. It wasn't even a contest. Setsu's skills proved to be too much for them. With ease, he emerged victorious, liberating Desistol from her ominous fate. Desistol's heart brimmed with joy at the sight of Setsu, and she embraced him tightly, grateful for her unexpected rescue. As Setsu and Desistol embraced, Ruri remembered the package they had set out to deliver. She handed the box to Setsu. Setsu then took the brooch from the box and gently placed it around Desistol's neck, completing their mission and solidifying their bond. Setsu learns from Desistol that Toma is behind everything. Realizing he must stop Toma before more harm is done, Setsu makes a tough decision. He chooses to leave Desistol and Ruri behind and embarks on a journey to the demonic continent with Lavia. During his journey along the way, Setsu also crosses paths with Elise and their sister Amel. Elise is on a mission to track down a dragon responsible for the disappearance of people from their village. Elise confides in Setsu, revealing that the dragon isn't just any dragon. She's the very dragon Elise was tasked with eliminating. Setsu agrees to help Elise find the dragon and uncover the truth behind the villagers' disappearance. After spending a considerable amount of time with Elise and Amel, Setsu begins to have suspicions about Amel's involvement. Amel, initially claiming that Lavia is merely a marine beast, unintentionally triggers Setsu's suspicion, leading him to believe that Lavia might be connected to the dragon responsible for the disappearances. In a tense moment, Amel can no longer conceal her secret and undergoes a dramatic transformation into a dragon. This revelation ignites a fierce battle between Setsu and Amel, culminating in a devastating decision by Elise to slay her own sister, Amel. Meanwhile, in the Beastman continent, a monster slayer named Shironeko lives with her sister Minako, and a tragic situation unfolds as her sister grapples with a mysterious illness that demands expensive medicine. Setsu and Lavia reach the Beastman continent after 3 days of swimming, but Lavia requires a well-deserved break before they can resume their quest. Fate intervenes, guiding them to the very town where Shironeko serves under her boss and friend, Kuroinu. In a fateful turn of events, Kuroinu presents Shironeko with an offer she cannot turn down, a substantial sum of money that could ensure her sister Mineko's permanent recovery in exchange for the elimination of a troublesome individual, Setsu. Accepting the mission, Shironeko soon comes to the stark realization that she is vastly outmatched by Setsu's formidable power. Setsu, in turn, detects a noxious taint of curse magic clinging to her, prompting him to make a surprising choice. He decides to go to her home, concealing her failed attempt from Minako to protect her from further harm. Within the confines of his home, Setsu uncovers the startling truth. Mineko's affliction is not an illness, but the result of a curse emanating from one of Toma's necklaces. Setsu, armed with his enigmatic weapon, Glutton, a sword with the power to consume magic, embarks on a mission to shatter the curse and liberate Minako from its sinister grip. However, their moment of joy is fleeting, as Kuroinu emerges, determined to complete the task that Shironeko couldn't. She unveils her true identity as one of Toma's agents and discloses his malevolent plot to attain godhood and obliterate all life. In a bid to eliminate Setsu, Kuroinu attempts an attack, but Lavia steps in, overpowering her and thwarting her deadly intentions. Kuroinu escapes through teleportation, leaving behind a myriad of unanswered questions. Grateful for Setsu's timely rescue, Mineko and Shironeko pledge their unwavering support. They resolve to accompany Setsu on his journey to Regdom, the capital of the Beastmen, with the dual purpose of aiding his quest. After a 5-year absence, Setsu, the former tutor of Roa, the Beastman's princess, returns to Regdom. His arrival is met with a warm welcome from Roa, who eagerly seeks to resume her lessons under his guidance, and from King Regulus, who expresses his profound gratitude for Setsu's past assistance. Not everyone shares in the joy of Setsu's return. General Roga, who asserts his claim as Roa's fiancé, harbors deep suspicions and jealousy over Setsu's close connection with the princess. In a bold move, Ruga challenges Setsu to a duel, staking both his loyalty and Roa's hand in marriage on the outcome. He displays a mystic tattoo he obtained from a sorcerer, which enhances his strength with his sheer willpower. Setsu, determined to resolve the matter, accepts Ruga's challenge and agrees to face him in a public showdown. The following day, they confront each other in an arena, where the roars of thousands of beasts resonate as they cheer on their respective champions. Ruga undergoes a dramatic transformation, morphing into a colossal lion-like creature armed with razor-sharp claws and menacing fangs. He launches a relentless assault against Setsu, relying on sheer ferocity and speed in an attempt to overpower his opponent. Setsu effortlessly evades Ruga's attacks, skillfully countering with his magical prowess. Throughout the battle, Setsu endeavors to reason with Ruga, imploring him to recognize that violence isn't the solution. Despite Setsu's attempts to reason with him, Ruga remains stubborn and escalates his attacks, leaving the onlookers stunned as his power seemingly continues to surge. However, Setsu's true strength becomes evident, and he effortlessly overpowers Ruga. In a shocking turn of events, Ruga's cursed tattoo reacts to his jealousy, causing a grotesque transformation that rends his body apart. In excruciating agony, Ruga succumbs to his own curse, and from his blood emerges Toma's astral form. Toma confirms that the tattoo was one of his sinister curses and discloses his twisted plan to attain godhood and obliterate all existence, to be with Setsu as lovers and gods. Abruptly, Toma vanishes, leaving behind only a lifeless body and a perplexing enigma. Setsu, along with his friends and Roa, resolves to return to the demon continent to confront Toma, while King Regulus prepares his army to join them in the imminent battle against this newfound threat. 10 years prior, Setsu and Toma were summoned as heroes to the tumultuous world of Dystynia, embroiled in conflict. Setsu, resenting the abrupt disruption of his own life, dedicated himself to rigorous training, determined to survive and bring an end to the war. A pact was formed between Setsu and Toma. While Setsu embarked on a journey across the world alongside Elka, Glein, and Thea, Toma remained in Dystynia to study magic. Setsu fostered friendships with the leaders of various nations and played a pivotal role in bringing peace to the troubled land. However, Toma's destiny took a darker turn when he encountered a cursed necklace that held an ominous power. Unbeknownst to Setsu, Toma stumbled upon a mysterious pendant in a temple, which promised him the ability to return to Japan with Setsu. Seizing this opportunity, Toma made a fateful choice, only to discover that Setsu had no intentions of leaving Dystynia. Corrupted by the pendant, which was, in truth, a fragment of Eclair's soul, Toma turned against his comrades, culminating in a cataclysmic explosion that sent Setsu back to Japan as a mere infant. Toma, too, was flung from the blast, but an insidious curse guided him to a temple where he encountered 4 test subjects who had suffered at the hands of scientists: Kuroinu, Meluar, and 2 men. Toma rescued them and took them under his wing. Making a dire pact with Eclair, who promised him greater power and knowledge in exchange for his service, Toma received the revelation that Setsu was still alive, but had lost his memories of the demonic continent. Toma began amassing followers who shared his vision of creating a new world under his dominion. Subsequently, he initiated a war against Eclair and the Beast Continent with the hope of luring Setsu out of hiding. As the war in the Demon Continent rages on, Setsu and his classmates from Japan have arrived to confront the ongoing bloodshed. Recognizing that only Setsu can halt the carnage, Yuhi takes it upon himself to save as many lives as possible. However, the first battle proves to be a horrifying massacre, leaving many of Setsu's classmates traumatized by the horrors of war. Yuhi finds himself having to restrain one of them from taking the life of a defenseless, wounded soldier. In the midst of the chaos, Alize, under Toma's hypnotic influence, unleashes her formidable doll soldiers, while Meluar summons monstrous creatures that wreak havoc indiscriminately among both demons and humans. Meluar attempts to extend her hypnotic control to Setsu's old friends, but they summon the strength to resist and fight back. Elka manages to strike a blow to Meluar's magic core, crippling her magical powers. However, Meluar reveals a shocking secret. She was a test subject who had been implanted with extra organs and magic cores to endure otherwise fatal injuries. With her last ounce of strength, Meluar conjures a colossal chimera and fuses herself with it. Alize, momentarily snapping out of her hypnotic trance, stabs Meluar, who dies in her embrace, utterly devoid of power. Enraged by Meluar's death, a male test subject launches an attack. With the rest of the group exhausted, Yuhi steps up to face the adversary on his own. Yet, just as Yuhi prepares for the confrontation, Setsu appears, ready to intervene. The conflict escalates to its pinnacle as King Regulus's army joins Setsu and his companions in the Demon Continent. Yuhi is elated to be reunited with Setsu, his joy almost leading to an unexpected display of affection. Setsu, however, grows irritated by Elka's influence on Yuhi, which has led to the development of some Keigaru, a surviving test subject from Setsu's earlier encounter at Dazasa's castle, eagerly seeks a rematch with Setsu. Minako and Shironeko engage in a battle against Kuroinu, outmatching her with their formidable ability to merge into a single, powerful entity using Beast Merge. Kuroinu confides in them, revealing that her allegiance to Toma stems from the scientists who had brutally experimented on and killed all her siblings. The last test subject, Virdos, boasts synthetic iron muscles that render him virtually invincible. Roa confronts Virdos, who unveils an additional power, the ability to transform into iron dust and reshape himself at will. In a brutal showdown, he inflicts injuries on Roa with iron cannonballs, but she unleashes her beast form, ultimately managing to shatter Virdos' armor and crush his heart. Despite the amusement he derives from his defeat, Virdos, as a final act of defiance, heals Roa's wounds before his demise. Setsu confronts Keigaru and shatters his damage-absorbing armor, reluctantly taking his life when he refuses to surrender. Sensing that all his test subjects are either defeated or dead, Toma emerges to carry out his twisted plan. The climactic showdown commences as Toma storms into Evil Barrow with the intent of eliminating Levaya and Desus. Setsu stands resolute to thwart his nefarious plans. The two engage in an epic battle, their similar powers clashing with such intensity that they create utter chaos. The throne room shatters, the sky cracks, and mountains crumble beneath the ferocity of their confrontation. Fury consumes Toma as he realizes he has lost everything, while Setsu still has his loyal friends by his side. In a fit of rage, Toma unleashes his full power, but Setsu discerns something peculiar. The power Toma wields isn't his own. Toma becomes overpowered and injured, yet he manages to destroy Setsu's sword, celebrating what he believes is his triumph. However, Setsu unveils one last cunning trick. He ensnares Toma in a dimensional barrier and employs his glutton sword to consume Toma's magic until there is nothing remaining. Toma is left in abject terror, facing what appears to be his imminent demise. But then, he awakens. Setsu reveals the truth. Glutton had only devoured the cursed necklace that had driven Toma to madness in the first place. Toma is subsequently captured and sentenced to utilize his remaining magic to transport himself and Setsu's classmates back to Japan, where they can lead ordinary lives as humans. Toma agrees to this arrangement, but decides to stay in Dystania as a powerless human, resolute in his mission to travel the world and contribute to making it a better place. Setsu, opting for a different path, embraces the world as a tourist, accompanied by Yuhi. Together, they embark on a journey, visiting their friends and every nation scarred by the ravages of war, aiding in the collective healing process. I hope you enjoy the video. Don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments if you like the anime.